Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. In today's video, I'm going to showcase my collection to you in only 5 different bags. And before we get started, I also want to make a tag out of this video because I think it's a really nice way to showcase your collection. So for me, I have found 5 different descriptions that I feel like describe most of the bags in my collection. And for each of these descriptions, I have chosen a bag that I'm going to show you. Perhaps it's not the most representative bag to fit that description, but I also wanted to show you some bags that you haven't seen on my channel recently, and also I think one bag that you haven't seen at all. So let's dive into it. I think the first description of my collection, which really captures not all but most of my bags, is low-key luxury. The bag I have selected to describe this is the Stradberry East-West bag. So if you are familiar with my collection, you will know that I don't do a lot of logos. I don't really have any monogram in my collection. I don't have anything against it. But low-key luxury, where there's pretty much no description on the outside of the bag, or only just a tiny bit of description like on this Stradberry bag. I just really like the if you know, you know sort of vibe around my bags, and when carrying expensive bags, I personally also just feel a bit safer if it is not very evident on the outside that I'm wearing an expensive bag. So if you like low-key luxury, you're definitely in the right place at my channel. Then next up, what is very, very typical for my bag collection is that I love neutrals. Again, most of the bags in my collection are neutrals. I've chosen my Ferragamo Box YZ bag as a representation of that. This is a bag that has black and 2 different types of brown. This is actually a bag with exotics, which is quite unique for my collection, but I'm very much a neutrals girly. So you'll find that most of the bags in my collection are black, brown, or like tan colors, wine colors. If I tend to go more for like a color like green, you will find more of a bottle green. I don't have a capsule wardrobe, but I would say I have kind of a capsule style. So even though I have quite a lot of clothing items, a lot of those clothing items do tend to match up. There's more of a cooler toned part of my wardrobe that I wear mostly in summer. And then there is a warmer toned part of my wardrobe, which I'm getting a lot of use out of right now that it's autumn. But I think that will also continue to progress into winter. In any case, I feel like you can never really go wrong with neutrals. And that's why I have a lot of them in my collection. There's one exception when it comes to all of these neutrals, and that is that I have sort of a thing for red bags. I've chosen my recent purchase, this Fendi Peekaboo Petite, as a representation of that. I don't have that many red bags. I think I have 4 of them. But the funny thing is that they are all pretty much in this color red. So a very bright, fiery red that's sort of edges on orange. So sometimes I show my bags and people will say like, oh, that's a pretty orange bag. The way I see it, they are still red, but I have 4 red bags that are pretty much all in the same color. So there's no cherry red or candy apple red or whatever types of red you have. No, they're all like this. I've never been on the lookout for this color of red, but these bags just managed to wiggle their way into my collection. I think it's mostly a matter of that these bags tend to go on sale because they are not neutral colors. And then I do tend to fall for them because I think the color is so pretty. I think red also looks pretty good on me, but I think that this kind of red, it's a bit much for me if I would have to wear it in like pants or a blazer or what have you, but I think it's so fun to have like this little pop of color in a bag. So again, I've never been on the lookout to add this specific color to my collection, but I already have 4 bags like this, and I find that I really, really do enjoy them. Then next up, of course, we need to talk about slouch. I have quite a lot of structured bags in my collection. Frankly, if we would have to look at what I have in terms of quantity, then I probably have more structured bags than slouchy bags, and yet I feel like I need to define my collection by the slouch. I've grabbed my Loewe hammock bag as a representative of my slouchy collection. Recently I already did a video on my luxury slouchy bags, so the pickings were a little bit slim in terms of the slouch that I still have left to show you. But the reason I'm also choosing slouch over structure, even though it might not really make sense in terms of quantity, is because I simply love slouch. The bags that I love the most in my collection are the slouchy ones. It's the Loewe puzzle. The Loewe hammock is probably my favorite bag in terms of design. It's not the most practical, but this bag is really, really stunning. I just love the way that it wears and the way that it slouches and that it sags when I'm carrying it. And I feel sort of the same way about my other slouchy bags, like the puzzle, the Burberry night bag, the Etravella bag. If I could only keep 10 of my handbags or even 5 of my handbags tomorrow, then I think all of those bags would be slouchy bags. And that is why slouch is a key character of my collection. We can, however, not go without the final category, which is also something that you might not see in the majority of my bags, but it's certainly a characteristic that you see in all of my favorite bags, and that is that they are unconventionally shaped. And for this I have selected my Balenciaga Hourglass bag. I think this is a bag you haven't seen before on my channel because of everything that went down with Balenciaga. I've had this in storage, but like I already said in my video 2 weeks ago, I'm not going to hide away my Balenciaga bags anymore. I think they are still beautiful just in terms of design and leather, and I'm going to enjoy them. And the Hourglass bag is again one of those bags that has a bit of an odd, unconventional shape because of the base that has some curving to it, but it's something that you see in so many of my bags, also in the Loewe hammock, for example. That's also an unconventionally shaped bag. So I really like these sorts of bags because it gives you something to look at and be intrigued by, where for example an APC Grace bag is just very beautiful, very classic. When I look at it, I also know directly what I'm looking at, but when I'm looking at a bag like this or a bag like this, I'm just really intrigued, like, what is going on here? Who thought of this? How is this put together? And that's something that I really enjoy about these sort of oddly shaped bags. Of course, you also have oddly shaped in terms of hard bags. There's these bags from Coach that are shaped like the dinosaurs or the duckies. Bananas, you have it. That's not really something I do. I would classify those more as novelty bags. I don't have a lot of novelty bags, not a lot of bags that are conversation starters per se. I'm really wearing these sort of oddly shaped bags for myself and because I think they are so beautiful. And even though I think that slouch would triumph over the unusual shapes, again, if I were to keep only 5 or 10 handbags tomorrow, I think quite a number of those handbags would also sort of have the unique shapes or the unique designs, because again, those are simply my favorites. I'm guessing this is probably a bit of a short video, which is fine. I'm trying to reduce the length of my content a little bit. I don't need to keep going on and on about a number of bags that I want to show you, but I thought this was a fun exercise to do. That's why I'm inviting the other creators to do it as well. Of course, if you're a viewer, then let me know down below in the comments, how would you describe your collection? What bags would be representative of what your collection actually is? Give the YouTube community an opportunity to enjoy what you have, and I hope this will be a fun topic for other people to do as well. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. That's always much appreciated. I'll see you next week, and remember, for now, there's a style in a situation and a taste for everything, so don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, and as we would say in Dutch, doei!